Today we're going to discuss the relationship between police officers and citizens. A lot of things that get citizens in hot water with officers that probably shouldn't. It could all be avoided. That is the police officer's authority, or the myths behind the police officer's authority. I'm going to bring up several that citizens have brought to my attention or whatnot, and I'm going to debunk them with receipts. Stay tuned because you're going to be shocked at some of these. Before we get started, I feel like I need to give a disclaimer that this is not in any way, shape, or form legal advice. This is strictly educational to help the citizens and the police officer get along a little bit better. Now, these myths I've heard over the years from many, many people, and I've had thousands of contacts every year, but there's only a select few citizens on traffic stops, personal contacts, or whatnot that blow these myths out at me, and I'm just blocking and stalking. Don't know what that means, but I said it, so we're going to run with it. I'm going to break these down for you. Let's get started. Myth number 1. If a police officer doesn't read me my Miranda rights, then the case gets thrown out. Let's do a reality check real quick. In Miranda versus Arizona, it applies only if you're under arrest and you're being interrogated. So, for example, if you're pulled over on the side of the road on traffic stop, that's an investigation of sorts. I can say, hey, is there something going on? You can refuse to answer all day long. And technically, you could incriminate yourself as well by telling me, no, there's nothing wrong, officer. Sorry, I was driving too fast. Okay? But that doesn't require a Miranda warning. Otherwise, we'd be reading it to everybody all the time. Now, if I arrest you for a suspected offense, because I have probable cause to believe you committed it, or you have a warrant or something, and I ask you about that offense that is incriminating, then at that time, if I do not read your Miranda warning, it doesn't get the case thrown out per se. But what it does do is it creates kind of like a fruit from the poisonous tree. It is everything I asked you that you incriminated yourself regarding that gets thrown out. The case itself exists still. I hope I explained that all the way. Myth number 2. I do not have to identify myself unless I've done something wrong. The reality check in this one is if you are legally detained in Texas anyway, I'm sure other states are similar, but this is Texas if we're enforced laws. But if you are legally detained, you do in fact have to identify yourself. You can provide an ID, DL, or name and date of birth verbally. It's just providing your information. If you lie, that's a whole nother offense. But you are required to provide it. Matter of fact, Texas has recently adopted the 89th legislature, which is a video of me griping about that. The failed ID law has gotten a little complex, but they added a section that says if you are stopped on traffic, specifically traffic stop, and you fail to provide your information, whether those sources I told you, you could be cited or arrested for that. Now, if you are detained for some other reason, suspicious to a crime or whatever, and there's probable cause enough to arrest you, if you provided or failed to provide your information, that in itself is not an offense. If you're outside the vehicle, I want to stress that. But if they want to arrest you for whatever they have you detained for, if they have enough probable cause to do so, then you failed to give your information, now you committed 2 offenses. Oh, damn. So, with that said, it's better just if you are legally detained, or if you don't know if you're detained, ask if you are. And if you are, give your information. There is a time that you don't have to identify yourself, and that is if you are doing absolutely nothing. Like, say you're at Walmart shopping, and you're just walking, and they say, hey, what's your name and date of birth? Or do you have your ID on you? If you're, you can ask, hey, am I being detained? If they say no, then you don't have to identify yourself. Okay? So it kind of goes both ways. Myth number 3. If I say I don't consent to a search, the officer can't search me. Reality check, ladies and gentlemen. The lack of consent does not override legal authority. Officers can still search you based on a few facts. Okay, they have to be present, though. Officers can still search you based on a few things. The first one, and the biggest one, is probable cause. If, for example, I'm going to break it down, make it real easy for you. If I walk up to a vehicle and I smell the odor of marijuana emitting from it, that tells me, reasonable, prudent person would believe that marijuana is in the car or on that one of the people inside the car, right? So I'm going to search. I'm not going to ask you for permission. If you want to gripe about me not asking for permission, that's okay. We can have that argument. Not, because I won't argue. Uh, if an officer smells it, removes you from the car, because they could do that too, we'll cover that later, they can search you and everything in there, okay? So, probable cause vetoes consent. Just know that. You can scream and gripe about it all day long. It doesn't matter. The next one is a lawful arrest. So if I arrest you or an officer arrests you, they can do a search incident to arrest is what it's called. So they can search you pockets. They can go everywhere. They have rights to you. And that's another one that doesn't require your consent. The next one, exigent circumstances. If there's some circumstance that I don't have time to get a warrant, I don't have time to do other things, whatever, then you can search. That usually applies to like houses, cars, some kind of endangerment, like there's something pressing an officer to take immediate action. Like, for example, you go up to a house and you hear someone screaming for help. You're not going to wait for a search warrant to go search for an individual that needed help or whatever. You're going to kick in the door and go after it, all right? That's just kind of the way it applies. And inventory. Officers, quit putting in your reports that you searched the vehicle incident to arrest. No, you didn't. You performed an inventory of the vehicle because you're looking for valuables and stuff. You're not looking for dope. If you happen to run across dope afterwards, great. That's a legal way of doing it. But come on. What is commonly referred to, hey, bro, I didn't tell you to search me or you could search me, is a Terry frisk. Terry v. Ohio. In this, it's a pat down of the exterior clothing. So you cannot go inside the pockets. You cannot manipulate what is in the pockets. But many times during a frisk, I've felt a meth pipe or a crack pipe, and you can immediately determine what it is without manipulating it. That's legal. But I'm supposed to be in fear for my safety and believe that for some reason you have weapons on you. That is the reason for a Terry frisk, not for a search. Let's move on to the next myth. Cops can't lie. Ha ha ha. Yeah, right. Cops can lie all day long. There's certain things they can't lie about, but as a detective of many years, I can say that I have the most common one, and God, officers don't get pissed at me for this, but the biggest one that I have heard is, and if used, is, hey, your buddy already told us what happened. So, come on, dude, help yourself out. It's always better to tell you, your side of it. And that way, maybe when it comes down to trial, if you even go to trial, it's going to be a lot better for you. See, right there. Yes, that is true too, just so you know. So it's a lie / whatever. Your buddy may not have snitched on you already, but maybe he has. But I will tell you, the harder you make officers and prosecution work on your case, the worse off it is for you. You're going to get more time, more than likely. So always come clean, and it'll go better. Potentially. I don't know. Ask your attorney. Anyway, officers can lie about certain things. The things they cannot lie about during interrogations and all are, they cannot lie about court orders. That would be a big no-no. Also, legal authority, like you're required to tell us this or that. I mean, you're not, to be honest. And that's what you're going to get from me is honesty, 100%. Ooh, I may have lied. Consequences that you're going to lose your kids if you do not confess or whatever. We're not supposed to manipulate. That travels down the edge of coercion. Coercion? I can't say it right now. But that's more like ultimatums and whatever. That's different. That's not. Now, officers can, think about it. We're undercover sometimes. Think about our undercover brothers. So if I'm sitting there and I've done an undercover thing, you have to play the part. I'm a bad guy. I'm a whatever. So you got to be that role, and it's not you. So you're lying. And I'm a cop. I lied. Let me just stress, though, I do prefer to tell the truth. There's that saying that you get more bees with honey. It is actually true. I've had more criminals talk to me and believe me on the street later because they know I'm straight up with them and I'm not going to BS them. They would talk to me. They'd end up going to jail. It would play out how I told them it would. And next thing I know, next time I see them on the street, it's fist bumps and playing it cool. So there's that. On to the next. I cannot be arrested if the officer didn't witness the crime. Ooh, reality check. Officers can't arrest you without witnessing the offense under certain circumstances. I'll bring up Code of Criminal Procedure 1403. In this Code of Criminal Procedure, you'll see that if there's probable cause that exists to believe that you committed a felony, probable cause that certain misdemeanors, I'm not going to go through all this because it's all over the place, basically family violence, assault, causing bodily injury, you injured somebody and there's a threat of further injury, then you can go for that. Disorderly conduct offenses, such as fighting in public, stuff like that, you can be arrested for without being seen. And, of course, arrest with a warrant. I'm not going to deep dive into this code because there is all kinds of things that I could tell you, and it is quite boring. Welcome to the law. On to the next, more entertaining. This next one is pretty funny. If I close the door and talk to you through the crack, the police can't do anything. Au contraire, mon frere. I can open that door and come on inside and get you if you're going to be detained for an offense. For example, family violence. Under that code we just looked at, I shall remain on scene and complete my investigation regarding family violence. Exigent circumstances, the situation I told you about earlier, where an officer hears screaming inside or maybe sees feet sitting, out of a doorway or something and looks obviously something's wrong. I see that through a window, whatever, and come in and assist, provide aid or figure out what the hell's going on. See if there's a crime afoot, or maybe I'll just save someone's life. In order to get a search warrant and there's people inside the house, you can enter, vacate the home, clear it, do a security sweep or whatever, lock it down, and wait for a search warrant to be completed. A lot of people don't believe we can do that. Many times they end up going to jail for interference because they wouldn't cooperate. Come on, guys. Come on. If an officer says, get the hell out, we're getting a search warrant, just get out. May not agree. Talk to an attorney. This one is, if I say, am I being detained enough times, the officer has to let me go. Here's a little reality check for you. If you continue to say that, you're probably going to end up in jail because it's annoying. And it's so much easier just to cuff you, stuff you, and take you to the jail, do the paperwork, and then, oh, by the way, no, you're under arrest, not detained. Anyway, the reality check mainly of this one is illegal detention means that no matter how many times you say it, you're not going away. And if you don't know that you're detained, you can ask if the officer refused to answer, because there's at times that I just refuse because I'm tired of answering. You can just start walking away, and either two things are going to happen. Hey, get back here is going to be said, or you're going to get snagged up and thrown on the ground. So if you're really confused, you can try those methods. This next one's probably one of my personal faves. It is, I can refuse to get out of my car during a traffic stop. No, you can't. Officers can legally order both the driver and the passengers out of the vehicle for safety, per the U.S. Supreme Court. The two cases we're going to refer to in this is Pennsylvania versus Mims, or whatever the hell that is, 1977. In this court case, it was determined that the driver can be ordered out. And then later, Maryland versus Wilson, 1997, extended that to passengers. I put the summaries on the screen so you can read for yourself, ladies and gentlemen. If an order is given to get out of the car by a police officer, whether it be a felony traffic stop or just telling you to get the hell out of the car, please oblige the officer and get out. things will go better for you and him. It's another personal favorite of mine. And it shocks a lot of people. This is the myth that if I'm on my own property, the police cannot arrest me. Reality check, son. Yeah, we can. Being on private property doesn't really shield you from anything. An officer has a lawful authority to detain and arrest you on your own property. Some examples of this might be assault, family violence. You're beating your wife, your kids too much, beyond discipline. Wife beats husband, cousin, mother, father. It all happens. I've seen it all, folks. Seen it all. I can not only enter your home to stop the assault, I could detain you and arrest you from your home. There's also areas of your home, keep this in mind, ladies and gents, that you can be arrested for public intoxication. This does not refer to your backyard, in your house, whatever. But there have been court cases that have supported the arrest of public intoxication being on your front porch, your front yard, in your driveway. So these parties you have when you got your good buddies out there just plastered to no end, which personally, a fun drunk is always great. Like, they make my night whenever I meet up with them. But beside the point, side note, funny drunk. Okay, with Officer Hollywood here. But just keep that in mind when you have a party. Keep people indoors. And for the love of God, don't let them drive off. Be a good host. Take the keys. This next one is a little annoying to me, and it's only because citizens believe that officers are bothered by it. And that is the myth of, if I record the police, they have to stop what they're doing. Ladies and gentlemen, people of the jury, no, they don't. And they don't believe that either. Because since the 80s, we've had dash cams on the cars. And modern police officers or agencies, most agencies have body cams. If you really want a copy of the offense or what's going on, have an open records request done for the body cam. Then you get a front row view instead of your crappy side angle. But let me caution you on something. I'm going to wait. No, you just hold on. You're going to have to wait for this about the recording it outside. But the reality check on this one is officers can have you maintain a safe distance from them because officer safety is primary to us. And if you crowd us, you can end up going to jail for interference depending on what you do there, getting in her face or whatnot. We do also have the authority to control the scene. So if you're interfering with our investigation or whatever is going on, say it's a murder scene, we need you to back up and you're too busy sticking that camera in my face, you're probably going to get it knocked out of your hand and taken to jail. I mean, that's just, I'm being honest here, guys. So be respectful. And also, if you record something and you capture a piece of the offense or a different angle that the officers don't have, your phone, because that's usually what you record on, can be seized. I can take your phone and enter it into evidence. Keep that in mind when you go around recording officers in their duties, because everything I'm doing is recorded and that's evidence. And same with you. If you're getting an offense portion or may have gotten part of the offense on recording, I'm probably going to take your cell phone from you. Please be careful and help your interactions with the police officers be better by having power, which is knowledge. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope I put a small wrinkle in that smooth brain of yours with this information. Come back for more, check out our other videos, and I'll see you next time. Until then, watch your six, take care of each other. Again, this is Hollywood with Hanging in the Hideout. Peace.